long-term decisions based on money, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be. Unless, well, I mean, even college, even with a job, purchases, like what other big decisions do you have to make that don't involve money, right? So, yeah.
I think, part of it for me, as far as, looking, towing that line between happiness, trying to find something that makes you happy and trying to find something that also, fulfills kind of the lifestyle you want to live.
Yeah.
It's just personal experience. Like you said, you've watched your parents and, I've watched my mom go through a bunch of different jobs here and there, and my dad's basically, since he was out of college, he's been at the same company.
Really? Yeah.
And it was one of those things where, he went and he got a 2-year degree, and, he was an electrician. He started in the field, then he was, a junior foreman and a foreman, and basically worked his way up the ladder to the job he is now, which is a project manager. And it's one of those things where he is miserable. He does not like his job. And part of the reason he doesn't like it is just the guys he works for, the guys that own the company aren't great leaders.
Okay.
So they make it tough. So it's not necessarily what he's doing as far as work, but the environment. And we talked about that. It makes a huge difference, but
yeah, it definitely does.
When he got into, being an electrician, it was one of those things he liked being in the field and watching something start as nothing and build up to something and being a part of it, putting, his handprint in it, so to speak. Whereas now as a project manager, he manages these projects and it still starts as nothing and, ends as something, but he doesn't have that same handprint on it. He's not there in the field
he's managing people,
making it happen. He's managing people. He's putting Band-Aids on things. It's,
right.
He's become more of a problem solver than, just really hands-on go and do it.
Right.
So, right now, he makes good money, but that happiness factor...
At what cost, right?
...is starting to go down. And I'm having some talks with him. He's had some decisions as, whether or not, he should try and find something else, or, he's talked about possibly, going out on his own and trying to start his own company or something like that. And it's, those are really big long-term decisions. Because one of the things, if he tries to find jobs somewhere else, he loses a lot of seniority, probably some benefits, some different things like that.
Right.
But the happiness factor may go up. If he goes out on his own, there's a huge financial risk at that. Because right now, the company he's at is basically, the number one company in, a large geographic region.
Right.
So there's a big financial risk to go out on your own and go against that and other established companies. So, there's, that's like a huge monumental decision. And that's when you have to balance, your heart and what you want and, your head and what you have. And
well, you have to ask yourself, like, how much is your happiness worth? And I think for a lot of people that's, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. A lot of people probably wouldn't be able to answer that.
Yeah.
But that's one of the, try to figure it out. Let us know. But
it's one of those things, it's hard to put a price on it, because I feel like so many times people get in a job and they aren't happy, but they almost get comfortable there. And that change or trying to do something different is scary.
Right, and maybe...
Even though you're not happy where you are, it's tough to change.
It's even harder. Right, so it's like that the stress of that transition would make it less, right? But for some people, it's... And I don't necessarily agree with this. I want you to do something that makes you thrilled 7 days a week. But it's like, for some people, having a job that, I just really can't handle it by Friday. I really can't wait for the weekend. And then it's like... that cycle is enough to reach the weekend's enough to recharge you for your next week. Like, but for some people that's enough, right?
Yeah.
But for other people, I would say I'm probably one of these people that I just really can't stand my 9 to 5. I really cannot. I'm like literally just cannot stand it. And, but at the same time, I'm thinking long term. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to suck it up for the next year, couple of years, because of where I want to be within those next couple of years. So it's like, I got to keep my mouth shut, put my head down and just work and sort of suffer for the next few years, lose a little bit of happiness. But it's hard. Like, I don't even know how to begin to put a price on being happy.
The tough thing about sucking it up is, like, I feel so many people get stuck.
Right.
They
with no escape plan.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is they're like,
maybe they're not even aware that they're stuck. Maybe they just, this job sucks, and that's it. That's the end of discussion for them.
And that some kids, like I said, I'm in college, and some kids get that, they decide to take a leap year. And, they work during that year, and they get stuck, and they just, you know, they say like, all right, after a year, y'all get back into it, and they just don't.
Right.
And it's one of those things that just, you know, the plan was just goes completely out the window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say, you know, all right, I gotta suck it up for these, you know, next 3 years and make some money, and then I'll find something different after. And you just get stuck, and you never end up really making that transition or making that change.
Right. I'll be honest. I know when to make the change when I'm completely burnt out. But I know that'll benefit me the best long term. You know, when I'm working 80 to 90 hours a week, that's when I'm going to have to make the change, you know, like, which it may be coming sooner than later, but if the podcasts go quiet for a while, it's probably because I'm busy. But, yeah, it's just, that took an interesting turn with the whole happiness and intuition part. I like it. I think, I don't think a lot of people even know how to access intuition. You know?
Or some people, you know, they've made so many bad choices they don't necessarily trust their intuition anymore.
Right. Who was it? I heard, I was listening to another podcast, actually, and we should probably stop doing that if we're going to be making podcasts. But I was listening to a podcast, and people said, all right, I'm going to surrender, and I'm going to listen to my intuition. And so they make a decision based on their intuition, and they think it slaps them in the face. Like, well, what the hell? I wanted to do this, but my intuition did this, and this is ridiculous. No, it's like, no, stupid. Your intuition's thinking 10 years down the road, right? Your intuition is projecting 10 to 15 years down the road. You're still thinking right now. Keep following it, right? And I feel like that probably happened to me, you know, where like, all right, I'm going to surrender. I'm just listening to my intuition. And like, oh my gosh, like that was not what I wanted to happen. Where if you really want to listen to your intuition, you just have to do it. And you just have to do it for a while and just see what sort of happens, because your life may take, you know, you listen to your intuition, you break up with your girlfriend, and you're like, shit, that sucked, now what? But then, like, little do you know, a year or two later, the greatest person in the world meets you, and you're just like, wow, like, this is insane. And that may seem far-fetched, but I don't know, I believe that's a thing. I believe that could happen, you know. Just relying on your intuition is just sort of allowing energy just to sort of flow, and it'll flow wherever it will put you in the best spot, I guess, if you trust it, you know.
And it's one of those things when your intuition leads you in a wrong direction, you know, okay, well, that was...
React to it in a positive way.
React to it in a positive way and build off it. Grow from it so that next time you trust your intuition,
maybe trusting
you can go off it. Hopefully it's, you know... Maybe
it makes a mistake for you on purpose, because that lesson's going to be something that's going to exponentially change your life, right? So, yeah, this took a really that took an interesting turn there at the end. I really liked the intuition part. Got pretty interesting there.
Well, you know, in my opinion, you know, that intuition, a lot of it, like I said, it goes back to happiness, and you know, life's too short. It's weird because there's kind of a duality. It's where life's too short to do something you know,
live it up and
aren't happy with.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, life's too short to be unhappy, but then again, life is the longest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah, yep.
Where, you know, all we have is time. And all we have to decide is, you know, what to do with the time that's given to us.
Absolutely. I kind of agree with both. Life it's the longest thing you're ever going to do. There's no meaning to it. There really, you know, I don't know. I don't think there is. It's just, you just sort of got to put your head down, do what makes you happy at the end of the day. Or do, you know, like for me, it's simply keeping busy. If I'm busy, I'm happy. You know, for you, it's something else. For somebody else, it's something different too. But
find what makes you happy and let it kill you.
Essentially.
Unless it's drugs. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad, okay?
Drugs are bad. Is that all you got?
I think so. I think we just about talked that to death.
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's good to talk about the gray area and to sort of divvy that up in a sense, you know. Examples are good. I feel like examples really help out.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody, thanks for listening. Hopefully this brought you some value. Maybe at the very least entertained you. Make sure to check out Pink Himalayan Salt. It's great. Let us know if you got to that part of the podcast. Thanks for listening. We're going to be back here next week.
Leave us some feedback if you got any. Thank you.